How are you?
Good. This is James. I also have my colleague Nate on the line with me. Thanks for taking a couple minutes to talk to us today.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at our site or how much you know about us, but we want to spend a little time and kind of give you the big picture.
Yeah, I want to make sure I have my coworker James on the line. I'm not sure if he's on yet.
Should we give him a minute or two?
Yeah, give him a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I know he just walked back into his office. I didn't look into it too much. I passed it along to him because he's really our data guy, and he wanted to make sure that we
Okay. So tell us about you. What do you do there? How long have you been there?
I've been here almost 6 years. I'm the marketing manager. So I do a lot of the pay-per-click marketing, but not so much of the analytics, digging into the analytics teams. And I work hand in hand, and then all the other more traditional marketing mediums. We have 3 different dealerships, 2 commercial truck stores, and 1 retail car store.
Got it. Okay. And do you drive a truck?
Do I drive a truck? No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Could you get a good deal on a truck?
Yeah, if you want like a dump truck, a box truck, those are the things we sell.
Nice. Well, I noticed you guys have been in business since 1949. So certainly doesn't sound like you've been there since then. But
no.
Has it been a family-owned business the whole time, or?
It has. It was one owner, and he just recently passed away a couple years ago. So his son was already part of the company, but took it over. And we've added pieces throughout the years. It started as one of the stores, and 2 stores have been added.
So does Tom Jr. own it now?
There's no Tom, actually.
Okay. Oh, there's no Tom. Okay. Got it. Well, I mean, it's neat in America to look at these great niche businesses, right, that families, build and prosper with and pass on generation and how they sort of evolve, right? I mean, I'm sure the original owner probably had some little lot somewhere and shook hands and chatted with people and sold a few trucks here and there and built it up over a long time.
Yep, exactly. Times have changed for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure if James is on the line yet. I just peeked in his office and he said he was calling in.
Okay.
Do you show anyone on?
It looks like he hasn't called in yet, but he can see the screen.
Okay.
So maybe so does that mean he's en route, Nate?
Generally, that's here we go.
There we go.
Hello, James.
How are you?
Good. My name is James. Also, I got Nate with me on the phone from Oopgo.
Hey,
Hello.
So it's Friday afternoon, and so we wanted to keep this short and sweet, so everybody can get off to a great weekend. We at Oopgo have developed a product that we think is a real game changer in web intelligence, and we're going to show you some of our tool set here in a minute. Before we do that, I'd like to just get a little more feedback on your website. Obviously, we've looked at it, and we're familiar with what you sell. Maybe you could spend a little time talking about what kind of web intelligence tools you use, what maybe any issues you have with them are, and then we can kind of kick the ball forward.
Okay. Well, we use Google Analytics primarily, and I guess the drawback of analytics is maybe heat maps, that they don't have like something that kind of shows you a little bit more on the behavior of the consumer. Another thing I don't like is the the reporting system. I wish I could customize, like, let's say email leads with and then have them like displayed and then have them work with a third-party API, certain things like that.
Okay. What's the main goal of the site? Is it basically to put out information? It doesn't look like, when I look at it, that you have, like a fill-out section, unless I miss it. What are you looking to what kind of intelligence are you looking to get from the people that come to your site?
Which site are you talking about, I guess, is the first one.
I'm looking at Tom's Truck Center. So I know you mentioned there were some other sites.
We really don't do. We
don't really market on the ttruck.com.
Okay. So talk to me about the other two sites then. Maybe you can tell me the URL just so I can see them.
Well, we have 3 stores. I don't know, James, how many websites do we have between the 3? We have lots of landing pages based on different models that we advertise. I mean, you could look, for example, look at KiaDepot.com, James. Is that one?
Okay.
That would work.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it kind of slices up the different departments for that particular manufacturer and rooftop.
Got it. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, we at Oopgo, just a little bit about us. We started in 2003. We've sort of emerged from the SEO wars after doing a lot of work in optimization to develop a product that we think is completely a game changer and really starts to do some of the things that, James, that you talked about, which is to answer questions way beyond just what page somebody came from and what pages they looked at, and some analytics based on that. If I had to dwell it down, I would say this. What Google Analytics does in a lot of the traditional stuff is it tells you about, how much you won, right? In other words, where people came from, what pages they looked at, and then, some sense if you're some conversion place, like either a form they filled out or a quote they asked for, something like that. What it doesn't tell you is what happened to all the other people that came and left, and an idea of why. If somebody filled out a form to get a quote or started to fill out a form to buy something, something along those lines, it really doesn't give you any data on that. We do. That's our whole raison d'etre is to try to solve that Rubik's Cube. And Nate's going to show you here in just a second a couple of our tools. We've really got, I think, 3 major tools. The video capture, which allows you to see in real time and in video what the person does from the moment they get to the site to the moment they leave. Every mouse click, every movement, anything they typed into the keypad, everything. Secondly, we're going to take that data and we're going to convert that into useful analytical tools. 3, we're going to give you a much greater sense of usability, and I think this is hugely important. You may have an idea of what your website looks like to you sitting at Command Central. You may not have a great idea what it looks like to somebody who's on his iPhone, on his NetPad, on his iPad, on different flavors of PCs. So this is going to let you see exactly what that person saw. So when they're sitting on their iPhone typing some information or something like that, or giving you some data, and they either keep stopping at there seems to be a consistent pattern where they stop at line L, or they seem to get to a certain point and then kind of fade away. This will start to help you go a long way towards understanding what's happening to people that you're not converting, or you're not getting data from, or you're not getting the kind of response that you want. And that's a huge paradigm shift. So Nate, if you can show them a little bit, start with the video capture.
Okay, sounds good. So just to give you an example, here is an example of a couple of user videos that we have. And really, like James said, the key to all of this is our data capture. We capture every data point, every movement, everything that takes place on your website, and that allows us to do a lot of different things. But as you can see here, and as James alluded to, the user experience from a PC to a cell phone is going to be a little bit different. And we really wanted to give you the ability to put yourself in, the customer's shoe and to show you exactly their user experience when they're on their site. So what we're able to do is to kind of pop out here, and what we'll show you is the exact resolution of their screen. So understanding that there's going to be a difference between a tablet, a phone, a computer, and to really kind of allow you to optimize for the specific devices, what that experience is going to be, and to get into that customer's shoe.
Okay. So any questions or thoughts on that?
No, that's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Okay, cool. Nate, if you can show them the sessions. So the great thing, too, is you can start to, with our product, basically, I always ask myself this question, and everybody's different. I'm probably the kind of person, if I go to a website or something like that, I may go there 2 or 3 times before I buy something. I don't just necessarily buy it the first time I come out of the gate, right? And I'm not sure what the numbers might be for you, but I'm guessing that probably a majority of the people that may come a time or two before they give you the kind of data that you want. Sessions are really hugely important because you can tag people. If you got a guy that comes 1, 2, 3, 4 times, you can tag him and look at his sessions. And maybe you can set up so maybe when this guy comes the next time, you can drop a little coupon down. You can throw him. I don't know if you come look at our car, bring this coupon with you, and we'll give you I don't know 2 angel tickets or something like that. You can start to affect his behavior. So you can recognize who your high target people are. You can start to analyze what they're doing, and you can start to try to modify their behavior. Okay, go ahead, Nate.
All right, and just as James just alluded to, here we kind of have this broken down into a historical view of a specific person who's come to your website. So if they've come, 84 times or 2 times, you're going to have all of their different sessions up here. And if there's one that's of particular interest to you, we can go ahead and click into that one, and it's going to throw it up on the main viewer, and you're going to be able to see what that person did during that specific session. We also want to give you the ability to quickly jump to those pages that are most important to you. So if a person, went to 5 or 6 pages before they got to the one that's important to you, we can just jump right to that page that's important, and we can throw it up on the screen to get you to the data that's most important to you as quickly as possible. Down here at the bottom, we have several different analytics regarding, over here on the left side, that's session specific. So, where they came from, anywhere from country, state, city, what browser they're using, how long they were on the site, things of that nature. Over here is more of a complete customer overview, so how many times they've been to your page, how many pages they've been to, and things like that. Going back to what James was talking about tagging, here we have segmentation and key actions are very similar. We got our tags down here, and this is basically you define the criteria that's important to you, and then we're able to tag specific people that go accomplish that criteria. So if it's they visited this page 5 times, or they spent this amount of time on this page, that tag would be dynamically added to them, and they would have it. Key actions is more behavioral. So if it was something like they purchased a product, or they filled out a survey, or they filled out something to get more information, a contact form, and that was important to you, we could add those key actions as a tag on that specific user, and you would quickly be able to pick them out from all the other individuals that have come to your site.
Mm-hmm. So let's get this out of the kind of metaphysical and down to practical. Let's take one of your websites, like maybe your retail one. What would be the most expensive car that you guys sell or truck in that retail line?
For the Kia Depot, probably the Optima.
Optima, okay. So what you might want to do, for example, is people that come to your website and look at that. Maybe they're looking at the 2013s. You might want to tag all the folks that are looking at the high-end stuff. And maybe try to offer them incentives to come, drop downs like that. The reason tagging is also important is that you don't want to treat all the videos the same. If somebody comes 3 or 4 times and they're looking at certain parts, you want to basically be able to target your high-value people. Another thing too, just as a practical matter, maybe there's a certain car that you're not moving very well. Maybe it's more important to really try to get as much knowledge about something where maybe sales are slumping a little bit in a certain product. So, again, like you said, James, originally, this all comes back to behavior and behavior modification. Understanding why your people are doing what they're doing and doing what you can to try to modify it. Also, do you monitor any of your competition, like their web traffic, changes to their site, changes to their pricing, anything like that?
No, we don't, and that would be a pretty good tool, at least sometimes maybe even to build and test what our possible competition is. Because what I do when I'm trying to stay competitive when it comes to pricing is I literally do a Google search for anything that comes up, either paid or organic. Go through their catalog and come up with some pricing, and then try to come up with a tier that's somewhere in between, but I'm doing a lot of manual work when it comes to that.
So one of the elements of our package is we have intelligence as part of our package that allows you to look at things like how much monthly traffic they have. You know, is the guy down the street, you know, has he got twice the traffic you got? Maybe that's something that would be important to know. Also, it might be important to know, you know, if he's got spikes in his traffic, you know, or changes to his website, things like that that, you know, you can get clued into, you know, in real time as they're happening, right? It doesn't do you a lot of good to find out, you know, 6 weeks from now that the guy, you know, there's a major spike in traffic because they were running some major, you know, promotion that you didn't know about. So this allows you in real time to understand exactly what your competitors are doing. You know, focus in on everybody in your area or the top 4 or 3 or whomever. So it's great competitive intelligence. I think those two coupled together is what really at the heart of what makes, I think, our product, you know, a must product for people in the web space that, you know, are living more and more by how their web results in movement and profitability. Any questions on anything so far?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So this is the point in the presentation where I like to stop and ask you if there are any issues. You know, we always say that we're looking for clarity, not consensus. So, is there anything in any of the stuff you've looked at that is either ho-hum to you or you have concerns about?
Nothing concerned. I mean, I'd like to see more features that kind of separate you further.
Okay. So, you know, I guess here's the question. This presentation was meant to really just be sort of a 30,000-foot overview. When we start to talk about features, James, here's where I guess a lot of it depends on what you need. And by that I mean because we're able to do a video capture, literally we have at our fingertips thousands of times more analytical possibilities than Google ever could because their analytics is just based on your page movement. You know, we can take every, you know, I mean, we can look at the, you know, what your mouse is doing, give you the, you know, mouse movements. We can give you, you know, the type of traffic movement. We can give you the, you know, the page logic on what they're doing. We can give you, you know, how many keystrokes they put into everything. Sometimes it becomes a little bit of an overkill, but the point is that we're able to craft out literally, you know, thousands of times more analytical data than they can. So sometimes it would come down to what's useful to you. But it seems to me that I would guess that, you know, the 3 or 4 things that were probably the most useful to you would, and again, pardon me, you said the name of one of your sites, and I couldn't quite hear you. I looked at Tom Truffle. What was the retail one?
Kia Depot.
Okay, how do you spell that? KIADEPOT.com. Oh, Kia Depot. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So, so let's talk about this a little bit. People come to this site. Hang on, I have to load up. Sorry for 1 second here. Give me a second here. I'm sorry. Kia Depot. Okay. So people come to your site here. So they go to sales. Okay, so they can schedule an appointment, I guess, which is one thing. So do you keep any kind of conversion? Okay, so they can view inventory. Okay, so that's another thing. Do they have the ability to fill out? Okay, so credit applications. Here's another thing. So I can see right away there are 3 or 4 things that would be huge for you. One is, you know, how many people that fill out a credit application fill out about a third and quit filling it out?
Right.
And why?
So, what are your hiccups in regards to some? See, like the credit applications that we have installed, unfortunately, are kind of framed in. So, how does your system work? Is it still like a JavaScript that you have to throw into the body of an HTML file, or how do you guys go about, like, because there's certain sections, like let's say for one of our online catalogs, we used to be able to add a tracking code and I can see the conversions. I wouldn't know the actual e-commerce numbers, but I would at least know like how many sales came out for that month based on the version number. But because they restrict it, or they're dynamic URLs and they change at the end, and whatever the reasoning, we can't track some of the stuff. So how do you guys go about that process?
Nate?
We do use a JavaScript that you put into your HTML. Actually, one of the sites that we do track is dynamic, and I know that we can do that. We can track all that stuff and get that information to you.
Okay. So regardless if it's installed on the last, like let's say, thank you page or whatever, the tracking code would still work.
Correct. As long as it's in the HTML, we'll be able to capture the data, and we'll be able to present that to you.
Okay. Because what I'm telling you is that tracking code might not come up on the last page where it's crucial to know if the sale was made. So, okay.
So, do you have concerns that could affect your ability to understand what the sale was made?
Yes, because, or at least that whether your program works, like it might not be beneficial. It might still have the same issues as Google because it still needs to be inputted. At least the goal is tracked by a unique URL. Okay.
So, that I always try to be as I can about technical stuff like that. What I would suggest is, we'll take that back to our sales engineer and just chat with him real quick about it and get you an answer.
Okay, great.
I mean, that's that's the kind of thing, honestly, I don't want to speculate on. I don't think it's an issue, because I know we've come across this before, but I don't want to say that it's not, right? So, but maybe we can table that for the moment. So, I'm just looking aside too. I'm trying to think what would be some other areas where having people understanding page movement would be useful to you. I guess it looks like people can schedule an appointment. So again, having some sense of people that maybe started to do that and didn't. Maybe understanding about the flow of the pages, what people are looking at. Again, those are all be things I think that our application would start to talk about, like you said before, about behavior analysis and getting a better sense about the way people flow around your website.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with that being said, I guess maybe you can just give us some overall feedback. If there is an issue with the Java interacting with that application page, how do you feel? Do you feel this would be a good fit in your arsenal?
I mean, right now, so far, other than you capturing video behavior, which is pretty awesome, what else do you guys do? Like, can I see your conversion analysis? How that works? Like, what do you guys drill down to? Like, if you get actual sales numbers, like if I have a online catalog called Net, does your system know like how much was spent on the catalog, or will we have to set a conversion amount and then assume that that's based on average sales invoice or whatever, or how do you guys go about it?
All right, so with something like that, what we would do is we would connect, because you guys obviously keep track of that stuff, because if people are purchasing things, you have that data. We can connect that data with our data, and so inside of your conversion funnel or in a specific report, we would be able to, by connecting those pieces of data, get you that information.
Okay.
The answer is yes. Yeah, that's something we do.
And you have
go ahead.
Another thing. Because I guess in analytics you could technically drill down to, like, let's say, traffic source. So if, let's say, the traffic source was from Edmunds or like some other website, and then we start getting more conversions, let's say email requests or whatever, is there like some kind of tool in there that says this traffic source was more successful than these other traffic sources?
With our reporting engines, we can do that. We definitely can. So we'd be able to, if you can define what you were trying to compare, we can get you a report to show what you're looking for, because we do have that common data source that in all that data capture, we have that information.
Okay.
Now, would that be something that would be accessible, like in this dashboard? If we told you what we're looking for, then you would create it to where anytime we logged in, we'd be able to see that, or we would have to call and request you to create this report and send it to us?
So what we would do is you would let us know what you were looking for, what type of report, and then we can build that into your dashboard so that you can get to it as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
How do you guys? Can
you give me a sense? I'll say that.
Important thing for us, because we do marketing with Yahoo, Google, and Bing. Can you guys separate like the actual? Because Google does it as well, but it's still kind of off because sometimes it considers PPC visits as organic, and it's kind of confusing because I would like to separate everything and be able to run it from, like, let's say if I just do a report for one website, I would like to know the like I would like to, as a widget or maybe on the dashboard, have, like, let's say Google, Bing, and Yahoo, and then from Google, Bing, and Yahoo, like you have right there, like the count is obviously the visits, but then maybe also have like the conversions and like a conversions counter and all that, so that at least we know which search engine is bringing in the best return on investment.
Yes, we can. We can do that. We absolutely can do that, and it's just us basically customizing the dashboard and the reporting to what you're looking for. That's really the thing that we want to do the most. That's why we gather all this data, is because everybody's looking for something a little different, and we just need to make a little adjustments for those customized requests and to get those reports that you're looking for to your fingertips as quickly as possible.
Okay.
In this dashboard, would we be able to view, would there be like a drop-down of all the different sites that we have? Since we have dozens, would we be able to access all of them within one? Or
this is probably what that would look like right there.
Okay.
So yes, we can. So you would have different websites, and then you could select one and then look at the data for that specific website.
Do you guys have a limit of websites that we can have on your dashboard? I mean, on your system?
There is no limit, but the more websites, the more traffic you have, because of our pricing structure, that will adjust the price of it based on your traffic and how many people are coming to your website and things of that nature.
Okay.
So, quick question: do you have any idea what your total aggregate traffic is?
Yeah, let me get that. I was actually going to Google right now to give you that number.
Okay.
Let me see. All right, I'm going to add all this up. I'm only going to be able to give you the ones for the last 30 days. So let's
Okay, that's fine.
Roughly, it's 144,012.
Okay, for the last month.
Yeah, just
30 days. Okay. Okay, cool.
Last 30 days.
Okay. So
that's between everything, James, all the
That's,
sites?
yeah, all of our sites. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Well, Nate, you want to give us a quick overview? We'll give you a quick overview on price and setup.
Okay, so with that amount of views, we're looking at around the monthly licensing fee is going to be $3,800 a month, and the setup fee is estimated at right around $3,500.
You guys are more expensive than Omniture.
I we've done research into that. I think maybe initially, but not initially. Overall, they start to add a bunch of fees onto the end. This is exactly what you're going to pay. We've tried to price ourselves competitively so that you get the best bang for your buck.
And yeah, let me throw in a couple of things here too. For that, you're not only getting the web capture, you're also getting the web intelligence. So that allows you to look at all your competitors' stuff too, which is not a cheap tool either.
How does that work? Can you show me what you guys do to have that work out? Like do you literally plug in a URL and then it just brings up the stats?
The way that works is, yeah, we find your top 5 competitors, or if you mention your top competitors, that we can gather data. We have data stored, and we can get you reports based on the competitors that you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We don't have as part of the slide questions. We don't have the tool on a slide, but we can. And that's one of the things. Honestly, obviously, if we show you, we're giving you the data. So.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, obviously, like, if somebody wants to, because you don't know what your competitor is. Like I'm telling you, I had to research it, and I don't know the stats. I just know what they're doing because I'm doing a lot of the legwork myself. But if you had a system where somebody searches a URL and then throws in and then gets the, like a hit ratio, I don't know how you would be giving up your data. Like it's part of a tool. Like Quantcast does that for you. If it's so I don't understand, and it's free and it's live for everybody. So I don't understand why you would not be sharing data.
I said that. I mean, I sort of ingested it. If you want more info, we can next presentation, or I can send you links, or we'll get you some more data. We just, as part of this presentation, we just don't have. We didn't include the the sort of demonstration how it works. So we can send you some links or something like that. We'll give you more info after the fact if you like.
Okay.
Let me just say this. Part of the reason is that we've actually just recently merged those 2 products together. So it used to be that we were opting out as a separate product. Now we've merged it in with this one. So we're just trying to build more value in our product. So it's something we'll actually have as part of our presentation in like a week or so. We're just collating the marketing stuff together.
Hey, I'm just curious. So it sounds like you guys have had a quote from Omniture before?
I have.
Was it for these sites?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they didn't have a cap, but I've worked with like ClickTail. I've done some of their whatever trial process and it was okay. I didn't think it was that great, but there's been a few. It's just that most of third-party outside of Google Analytics suffers seem to be pretty pricey, and I know that at least especially since now they've merged with Adobe, Omniture would seem like the more robust one because they were the only ones that would provide a lot of extra data that Google didn't offer.
Yeah, and we also have dealt with Omniture in the past, and what they do is it's kind of an a la carte system where you purchase a bunch of different features from them, and they each have a different cost, and generally they'll get you in with one feature, and then they'll try to back sell you a bunch of different ones. What we wanted to do is kind of get out of that and just give you, basically all of the features that they have plus a lot more because of our data source, all in one. And it makes it so much easier from a usability perspective and to get the data that you want right to your fingers rather than playing games and trying to get you to buy 10 products to get you what, a fifth of what we give you.
Yeah, there's no bait and switch.
Now, do you also have, like, there's another competitor out there, Mongoose Tracking. Have you ever heard of them?
Off the top of my head, I'm not familiar with Mongoose.
Mongoose Tracking actually integrates with analytics or with their own software as well, and they give you conversion numbers for phone calls. So if you plug in a phone number, into the system. I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's an XML feed or something that automatically responds as a URL, but it'll give you conversion tracking on phone calls as well.
Yeah, is there?
I think with either like their own, maybe it's like a routed number, or it could be, or I think they might work with like, because we work with call source, so either they work with them and they get a.
We can definitely work with third-party providers with customization. We can, the way that we put this together was to make it as flexible as possible, so we can definitely work with third parties.
I wanted to ask a question about the price as far as, it sounds like you guys have these tiered pricing based on traffic, and I don't know what the next level up or down would be, but as traffic over time changes and say it puts us into the next bracket up, does our price adjust on a monthly level, or do you take the average?
Technically, this is our slowest month. I mean, December, these are our slowest months, so, I mean, in terms of the summer, we're probably expecting at least 40% more of that to go up.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all in sales, right, in one way, shape, or form. We were running some promotions before at the end of the year. It's obviously a new quarter for us, so I guess I can go back, to my manager and see if we can cut you the deal that we were having Q4. I guess some of that would depend on how interested you guys are. I think we were doing 20 off, something like that, or 25% off. I have to go back and check at the end of the fourth quarter. So if we could generate better pricing for you, would that be something that would be helpful in getting you to consider doing this?
Well, I mean, I think we need to, James and I need to discuss it and see if it makes sense for us versus what we have going on right now. But I'm still curious if as traffic fluctuates, if the price fluctuates, or if when the price is set at the beginning, that's the price that we pay. Yeah.
So I mean, yes. The answer is yes. We would work with you on that. If you're 140,000 in traffic. Well, okay. So I mean, well, let's talk about it. That's actually a fair question. So let's say, for example, that your traffic is going to be. I mean, Q4 probably, or the last 30 days, you probably have a decent amount of traffic. People are buying cars for Christmas presents and stuff, and probably the next 3 or 4 months is probably not going to be the same traffic level. Is that correct?
Yeah, January is typically slow.
Okay, so let's for argument's sake, let's use your lowest. I mean, this thing takes 3 or 4 weeks to implement, but what would be your best guesstimate on January traffic? Like half that, 100,000? What do you generally tend to see in January as a best guesstimate? I'm not holding you to it, but just a guesstimate.
I really don't know the answer to that. I would have to.
So would I.
We just know it's slower overall.
Okay.
As the
And
business,
so
I'm not necessarily sure.
Really, to answer your question about going up to the next tier, I'm not very concerned with that right now because the next tier up would be over 500,000 visits per.
Okay. I mean, I was really just looking for a yes or no answer as to if the traffic changes, does the price change?
Yeah, yes, it does.
So it's not going to change upward unless you have a major spike, but it certainly could change downward. Either we could start. I mean, if you're talking about probably you're going to be around 100,000 for the next 3 or 4 months. We could work out. We could lock something in and make it more attractive for you. I mean, so I think that we'll work with you on that front.
Also, do you guys, I mean, I don't know if this is an option for you. We also have an option if you preferred to host, and our team would help you to get that all set up. But that's a little bit cheaper than if we host. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, I don't know if you have the expertise in that area. There's also that option as well.
And what would the cost be on that? We do our own hosting. Well, we have a reseller hosting account, so we would just set up a domain, and then you guys would install whatever it is and run it through some kind of like remote database, or what would you? So
essentially, the data that's captured would just be housed inside of your server. It's just us. The setup would be a little bit more because we have to come in and make sure your server is set up and optimized for our technology. And once we do that, it would be a little bit cheaper per month. But we prefer to host it, but if that's something you guys have expertise in and things of that nature, we can do that. And the pricing would adjust at your level. It would go down to about $3,000 per month rather than the $3,800.
Okay.
So yeah, so I mean, you know, again, we'll work with you on the numbers. You know, again, if you see the value, if you think that having access to, you know, customer behavior, understanding where and customer compare intelligence would be useful to you. You know, we think that you know, I think our product can do a lot to take you in that direction.
What does your contract look like? Is it does it lock us in for a year or 30-day out, or what do we have?
Nate, Nate, you hear that?
Right. Yeah. Right now we're trying to lock in for 1 year, and get you in there and get you locked in and get everything set up and get you going. So that's kind of how our contract is working right now.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't.
Yeah, unless you guys want to demo the whole thing, kind of give us a overview of how your system works and what kind of differentiates Google. Up to you.
Okay. Why don't we do, here's my suggestion. Nate and I are both frontline guys, so what I'd like to do is maybe set up a demo for you next week with one of our technical people, one of our engineers, so he can do a lot deeper dig for you, and you know, take you through, and that way we can take you through the competitive intelligence and take you through, you know, the particulars on the Google Analytics. This guy knows Google Analytics and all the analytical stuff better than anyone I've ever met. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. So, what day would be good for you? And I'll get him set up because he's busy all the time.
Okay, Nicole.
Wednesday I'm totally open, so it's really so James, what works best with you?
Wednesday we fine too.
Okay.
You want to go Wednesday, like Wednesday at 2?
That's fine.
That works.
Okay. Okay, so let's go Wednesday at 2. So we'll send you out a calendar invite. Hey, we really appreciate your time, and we'll be back to you next week, and we'll get every question answered that there is possible, and then we'll see where we're at.
Great.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thanks so much for your time. Bye-bye.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Okay, Nate, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So, well, that was 45 minutes, so, I mean, we certainly had